Welcome to English Through History. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe or leave us a review. It helps us to create more content and is appreciated by our small team here. The Australian gold rush of the 19th century arguably stands as a defining moment in the history of the country, shaping its economy, society, and identity. Similar to the early California gold rush in North America, beginning in the early 1850s and extending into the 1860s, this transformative event saw waves of prospectors and fortune seekers flock to the Australian colonies in search of precious gold. In this episode, we'll explore the history of the Australian gold rush, its impact on Australia's development, and its enduring legacy it left on the nation. The Australian gold rush can be traced back to several significant discoveries of gold nuggets and deposits. The first discovery occurred in 1823, when a geologist named James McBrien found traces of gold near Bathurst, New South Wales. However, this discovery remained largely overlooked, and the real catalyst for the gold rush came more than 2 decades later. In 1851, Edward Hargreaves, a gold prospector, returned from the California gold rush with knowledge of prospecting techniques. Inspired by the similarities between the geology of California and Eastern Australia, Hargreaves conducted successful tests in the Bathurst region, leading to the discovery of a substantial amount of gold. This discovery, made public in February 1851, marked the beginning of the Australian gold rush. News of Hargreaves' discovery spread quickly, triggering a gold rush of epic proportions. People from all walks of life, including miners, farmers, and even city dwellers, were drawn to the goldfields in search of wealth and fortune. Thousands of hopefuls traveled to the gold-rich regions of New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland. Victoria in particular became the epicenter of the gold rush, with the discovery of significant gold deposits in Ballarat and Bendigo. The allure of riches attracted not only Australians, but also immigrants from around the world, including Europe, China, and the United States. This influx of people, known as diggers, played a crucial role in the development of the Australian colonies. The gold rush was not without its challenges and hardships. Life on the goldfields was arduous, with prospectors facing harsh weather conditions, inadequate sanitation, and a constant struggle for gold. The work was physically demanding, as diggers often had to dig deep into the earth, using tools such as picks and shovels. Many lived in rudimentary tent cities or makeshift settlements, which were often overcrowded and plagued by lawlessness. One notable challenge was the issue of the gold license. To regulate the influx of miners, colonial governments imposed a fee on anyone seeking to mine for gold. This led to discontent and protests amongst the diggers, who believed the fee was unjust. The most famous protests, known as the Eureka Rebellion, occurred in Ballarat in 1854, when miners erected a stockade and clashed with colonial authorities. Although the rebellion was crushed, it did eventually lead to reforms, including the abolition of the gold license. The Australian gold rush had a profound impact on the nation in various ways. The first was the influx of immigrants seeking their fortune contributed significantly to Australia's population growth. It transformed the colonies, which had been primarily rural and sparsely populated, into bustling and cosmopolitan communities. Gold became a major export, providing a substantial boost to the Australian economy. The revenue generated from gold exports funded infrastructure projects, including railways and roads, and which helped to integrate the colonies and stimulate economic development. Cities such as Melbourne and Sydney experienced rapid expansion during the gold rush. This urbanization led to the construction of new buildings, the development of financial institutions, and the establishment of businesses catering to the needs of miners. The gold rush brought people from diverse backgrounds together, fostering multiculturalism and tolerance. It also played a role in advancing political and social reforms, including improvements in working conditions and suffrage rights. The environmental consequences of the gold rush were also significant. Large-scale mining operations often resulted in deforestation, soil erosion, and pollution of rivers with mercury and other chemicals used in gold extraction. The gold rush saw a substantial influx of Chinese immigrants who came to Australia in search of gold. The presence of Chinese miners led to cultural clashes and xenophobia, resulting in the imposition of restrictive immigration policies. While the gold rush brought prosperity and development to Australia, it did eventually begin to decline in the late 1850s and early 1860s. The most accessible gold deposits were quickly exhausted, and the remaining gold was often deeper underground, requiring more advanced and more expensive mining techniques. Additionally, other gold discoveries around the world, such as the California Gold Rush and the Fraser Canyon Gold Rush in Canada, diverted some prospectors away from Australia. As the gold rush waned, many miners turned to other industries such as farming and manufacturing. However, the impact of the gold rush continued to reverberate through the Australian economy and society for years to come. It had laid the foundation for a more diversified and industrialized nation. The Australian Gold Rush was a pivotal moment in the history of Australia. It transformed a collection of colonial outposts into a vibrant and prosperous nation. It brought people from all corners of the world to Australia and left a lasting legacy in terms of population growth, economic development, and social change. The gold rush shaped the identity of modern Australia, reminding us of the enduring allure of gold and the spirit of those who sought their fortunes in the land down under.